Hi everybody, this is Joshua Kirk back with you once again on YouTube, and now it's time for, I think this is probably episode 16 of Album of the Day, and sorry I haven't done album reviews in a while on this channel, mostly because I sort of needed a break from YouTube videos. In fact, I haven't done one since March when I did my review of The Carpenter, the new album by the Avett Brothers, which of course got a bunch of hits, so thanks to all of you for all the views that I've gotten on there, and all the nice comments and likes. I haven't done a video since I talked about my trip to Nashville, but finally it's fresh, and now I definitely feel good enough for me to do another review. I also want to say Happy Mother's Day to all of you. Hopefully all of you are having a nice Mother's Day so far, spending some time with your mom. Anyway, I guess we'll just get to this review. But first, some of the reviews that I've been doing recently have been mostly on podcasts. I decided that as for the podcast on my website, I'm just going to do it every once in a while, since most of the time when I review an album, it's mostly going to be on YouTube here. So I guess we'll just get on to the review. So today's artist is a singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist who's most known for doing music in a sort of an indie rock / space rock band called Grandaddy, from starting it in the 90s all the way to the 2000s. The artist's name is Jason Lytle, and currently he's sort of got a solo career now, starting with his debut solo record on Anti Records in 2009 called Yours Truly the Commuter. So today I'm here to review his second solo full-length album. The album is called Department of Disappearance. This album was released on October 16th, 2012, on Anti Records once again, and Anti Records actually sent me this. So I'd like to thank them for this. So they sent me this along with a bunch of their other Anti Records albums, along with some Dr. Dog stuff too. So I'd like to thank them for that. Anyway, here's the cover, spine, and there's the back of the album. The songs on here are the title track, Department of Disappearance, Matterhorn, Young Saints, Hangtown, Get Up and Go, Last Problem with the Alps, Willow, Somewhere There's a Someone, Choppin', Drives Truck to the Dump, Your Final Setting Sun, and Gimme Click, Gimme Grid. And the album was pretty much produced, engineered, and performed all by him. There's this photo here, sort of looks like it says Surge Party Foul, and this other odd guy about to make phone call. And here's the disc itself, and on there they actually said DOD on the disc, which stands for the actual album title, Department of Disappearance. And underneath it, really cool artwork, basically the same artwork on the CD. Here's a booklet here. It's got handwritten lyrics and photos of him. So, the pictures in here are really cool. But I feel like the ones that really stuck out to me are probably this one here. This other one here. And this sunset over here. Those are probably the pics that really stuck out to me, the ones that were the most beautiful. And on the back there's the liner notes for everything. Basically, where it was recorded, and basically recording, engineering, production, mixing, and the credits for the album art and the thank yous and everything. Basically everything you need to know that really has nothing to do with the instruments, since this was all performed by him pretty much. So I wanted to review this album because there's definitely quite a lot to talk about. There's so many instruments on here, which I found really interesting. You got guitar, you got piano, you got synths everywhere, you got drums, and then you got some other unknown instruments that Jason probably wants to keep secret or something like that. And the songwriting is really high quality and very personal, heartfelt, and somewhat thematic at times. So there's quite a lot to talk about on here. So it starts out with the first track, the title track, Department of Disappearance, and right away this sounds like a classic Jason Lytle song. It definitely does sound like Granddaddy, which is going to be a real treat for anybody who's a big Granddaddy fan and has been looking for a Granddaddy-esque sound on this album. You definitely won't be disappointed. And this song, especially at the end, it definitely just a great indie rock sort of song. And the song is sort of interesting lyrically, how sometimes you're not always gonna get away with things, especially if you work for some department or something like that. There's not a lot of lyrics, but that's sort of an interesting message that's in the song, because it's really more about the music developing with the listener. The end was just beautiful with the harmonies, the piano, the flying synths. So this definitely is a great starter and definitely a great way to sort of hook people into the entire thing. This song will definitely suck you right into the whole album. Track number 2 is called Matterhorn, and this is another one of the highlights. Just a really cool song with a really chill breeze feel to it. With this repeating chord thing going on, with sort of Indian music, where they have the drone playing throughout the whole song. There isn't really a drone, but it does have a repeating chord going on with it, and and it's just a beautifully done song. Has probably the most haunting lyric on the album, which is, in the note there's a love professed and some apology about some mess, but she won't be reading those words too soon. That's the most haunting, one of the most haunting lyrics on the album. This song, that's the most haunting lyric on this song and on this whole album, probably. And and the song sort of mentions what's wrong with safe and warm, and stuff like that. And then there's a next after that is a crazier track, track number 3, called Young Saints, which has sort of this, has like this surprisingly cool, like this, really cool, sort of, squirm in your seat kind of jam going on with it, with the guitar and the groove of, and the odd sound effects of the synth. This song sort of shows that this album definitely is probably Jason Lytle's most adventurous and his most personal, and the instrumentation sounds a lot harder than it does on a lot of his other stuff too. So that sort of reminds you that yes, this is a Jason Lytle album, except it's got a little more groove, and the record is a little more mature lyrically, and the sounds are like very adventurous, while still sort of maintaining sort of that home studio vibe that the album has, that a lot of Jason Lytle stuff has overall. And the song is just and the song lyrically is pretty relatable, sort of about the political problems with people around us. Like, I think a lot of people can sort of relate to that when they hear the lyrics in this song. Lyrics of, "It's sad the animals laugh at us," and stuff like that. And next after that is the song "Hangtown," which has a little more of a folky alt-country feel to it, with the tone of the guitar, and in the middle of it there's this weird, like, harmonica-like instrument. Like, in fact, in the handwritten lyrics on the album, it says, like, harmonica in the middle, and with parentheses and a question mark. Like, it could be a harmonica, or it could be a melodica or something like that. You know. A melodica is basically a little keyboard instrument that you basically blow into this little tube, so it plays all these little notes. It's sort of like a cross between a piano and a harmonica. That's what I love about Jason Lytle, is that he's not afraid to use, unique instrumentation. Like, this album has a lot of unique instruments, and I think this song really shows that. Get Up and Go is like an addictively catchy song, which is definitely sounds great to listen to when you're, like, jogging, or, like, when you're walking and, like, having a workout or something like that. But I will admit, the one track that I think really stuck out to me, one that I will revisit again and again, is a song called "Last Problem of the Alps," which after the first 30 seconds of it, one moment in it that really stuck out to me is that after the first few lines in the song, like after the first 30 seconds, there's all the instruments drop out except for piano and maybe a string synth, and like, I can feel a blizzard going by in the background. Like, I can easily feel the wind blowing and the snow going by in the middle of the song, in the point where all the instruments drop out. The song is, I think of another thing to say. Like the instrumentation on that song is just beautifully done. Like, the harmonies on it are great. Like, I like how Jason Lytle uses all these great layered harmonies to just sort of keep the songs from being, like, labeled as, like, filler. In fact, I don't think any of the songs are labeled as filler at all. The lyrics are sort of about, it's sort of about, growing up somewhere, but, sometimes you just sort of gotta let go of where you've always grown up that's pretty much, since, sounds like he's recalling a last problem of, the album Woods or something like that. And then there's the really cool keys master kind of groove of Willow One, which has a really interesting intro that kind of reminds me of old school sort of psychedelia electronic music. Music with this repeating synth chord going on. And it's just got a really catchy phrase of, he said, Willow One, all the way home to me. So, it's just a simple phrase. It's just sort of beautifully sort of thought through sort of song. So, the like a song. And and definitely the synths are definitely a pretty important thing to pay attention to. And all of a sudden, in the background, there's sort of this weird sort of I think sort of a dulcimer instrument in the background I can hear too. If you listen to the song with headphones, you'll sort of see what I mean. The track Somewhere There's a Someone, which is one of the longer songs on the album. While this may not be the most thrilling, and while it may not be the most energetic and fun song on the album, I love how Jason Lytle can sort of capture some sort of emotion in the lyrics. There's always someone out there, wondering where you are, and if you're all right, or something like that. So, and if you're gonna keep warm. So, it's a pretty hopeful song lyrically. So, I feel like this probably maybe one of the best songs Jason Lytle has ever written, just with the hopeful theme with the lyrics, and it's nice that he has a little piano ballad in here, since there's a lot of climax things going on with the album, since there are some songs that are like some big aggressive hard rockers, and then other tracks that are really chill with the synths in the background. And I think this is definitely one of the more chill songs on the album, so I feel like this is one of the most memorable songs on here. And it's definitely a song where you can easily just sort of, the more you listen to it, the more you're sort of just watching the song with the lyrics and trying to figure out what it's about. Then there's the short little instrumental piece called Choppin' Drives Truck to the Dump, which whenever I hear this instrumental, I picture this funny thing with there's this guy with a builder hat inside of a truck, and a garbage truck and driving to dump. I can easily sort of picture that when I hear the song. It's a nice little instrumental just to stir everything up until the last couple of tracks on the album. Following that is pretty much the first single to be released off of the album, called Your Final Setting Sun, which this song is definitely a little more mature than anything else Jason has ever done. It's definitely just an indie rocker that's, it's definitely a little bit more aggressive. like, one thing I noticed when hearing the song is that the instrumentation sounds a lot harder than a lot of Jason Lytle's other stuff. And I think that may especially be because indie rock band Division of Laura Lee recorded the basic tracks for this song. Like, I can easily just hear their distorted guitars, their warm bass, and their pounding drums in the background to this song. And the lyrics are like pretty informative. Like, you know, someday we all have to say goodbye to the setting sun. Like, the instrumentation is pretty aggressive. So the song is like a little darker and a little more thematic than most of the other tracks on here. And then the last track, Gimme Click, Gimme Grid, which is a long 8-minute beast at the end, has like sort of an interesting story of like Jason Lytle talking about like Norwood Avenue that used to have a shop where he'd stop each day before school. And he started talking about how, you know, the small simplicities may make the most sense to people. And that sometimes this is where it's all about. Like, basically, sort of what it's all about. Basically, it's sort of talking about sort of what the whole thing of life is about. Like, even if there's a world that doesn't make much sense and has absurd things going around us. And then he's sort of desperately saying that he needs click and he needs grid, so he'll claim that if he did anything, he'll say that's what he does. And there's this it's sort of a long 8-minute sort of track that it's interesting the way it builds up. Like, it just starts out with just this cute little drum machine. Like, one thing I noticed on tracks like this and Willow on is that they're just these cute little sparks of synth, like these little like ARP strings or something like that, and stuff like that. And then it slowly just builds up into the whole thing. Like, in the chorus, it basically drops out to nothing but piano and drums, like real drums. And then there's like an interesting guitar solo in the middle of it too. So the song definitely is beautifully structured. So I could totally see why it's got to sort of be long with the 8-minute length, just to sort of develop with the listener. And it has this weird sort of intro. It sounds sort of like this, probably the synth piece that has like this weird outro at the end. It sounds like this little synth composition that I think Jason Lytle's had for several years, pretty much the whole career that he's had with like this little with like these little sparks of synth. But it really does work as an outro. So overall, this album I definitely think is a fantastic album. Like I'm sort of new to Jason Lytle, but this definitely wasn't too bad of an intro, since when I had never heard of Jason Lytle until I got this album from Anti Records in the mail. But this is definitely, but I will definitely make sure to check out some of his other stuff, since I'm definitely engaged with this album. Like, if you're new to Jason Lytle, I will say that this isn't too bad of a starting point if you're new to Jason Lytle, so it's definitely recommended if you're new to him, but absolutely recommended for anybody who's been a huge Granddaddy fan and is a huge fan of anything related to Jason Lytle. Um, like, sometimes when you don't hear about artists much until until they put out a new album, it can usually be a mixed bag. Like, you usually sort of miss out on some pretty key tracks from the band. But I definitely didn't miss out on anything, so I'll promise to check out some of his other work with Granddaddy, and I'll promise to check out stuff from yours truly, The Commuter, too. But, I'm busy and working on other stuff, so hopefully I'll be able to come across that stuff that he has. Yes, and this is about, I think this is an album, sort of a psychedelia album that I think just about anybody can appreciate. So, I give Department of Disappearance an 8 out of 10. So that's what I thought of the album. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, if you're a huge Jason Lytle fan and enjoy this album, like, this definitely will not disappoint if you're a huge Jason Lytle fan. So that's gonna wrap it up for episode 16 of Album of the Day, and hope y'all stay tuned for episode 7.